This is a must. I see people doing this all the time, and they're always using their seam ripper the wrong way. Not only are they using a seam ripper the wrong way, there's so many tools on the market. Seam rippers. Not all seam rippers are the same. Believe me, they are not. Everyone here at the lounge knows that Tisha seam ripper is Clover. This is like church to me, okay? A seamstress best friend is her seam ripper, okay? And we're always making mistakes. I'm always pushing a night owl, sewing up late. And so my seam ripper tends to get a lot of use, especially at nighttime. So with that being said, this is my favorite go-to, and I'm going to tell you why. Compared to the standard, this is Dritz. This is another brand on the market. They're called Seam Fix, and I like them, but I don't really care for the seam ripper per se. However, I've spent $7 on this bad baby just for this part here, and I'm gonna get to that. So why do I like Clover? It fits amazingly in my hand. The part where the blade is, there's 3 parts here, okay, that I really want to point to. There's one that has the red dot on it, and I'm going to talk about that red dot. And then you have a longer stem on one side. That long stem on that side here, which is longer, it's much thinner than your standard. This is much thicker. I mean, you can literally see that in camera how different that is. Just by trying to catch my fabric, I have a tougher time catching my fabric because the blade on this one is much wider. So if my stitches are small, like for quilting, I can't even get my needle under there. This drives me crazy, okay? So Clover is my best friend. It is much smaller than most of the most of the rippers on the market. It's very thin. Now, let's talk about the red thing. A lot of people don't realize that the red thing is there to protect your fabric from ripping. And a lot of times when we are ripping fabric, the seams, a lot of times we have the ball up. Actually, the ball should be down. I can rip my fabric without cutting it because I'm keeping the ball in the inside and it's preventing from cutting the fabric. Didn't know that, did you? So here I have a piece of fabric that I've already sewn up earlier. And I am going to get this started. And you're going to just see how easy this is just to cut it. Sometimes I put it up, sometimes I lay it down. But it's just so easy. But I just want to get it started so that when I get inside, I can put this part inside and it's going to rip right across with no fuss and no ripping of the fabric. So I literally just made my hole, and I am just going to go across this, all the way across, and just cut. Come around here, because I don't think that's in the camera well. Okay, did we get it? Yes. All right, inside at the bottom, and I'm just going across this. You hear that? I'm right-handed, so sorry. That literally cut my fabric. Look at this. No rips in my fabric. It's just nothing but my thread. You see that? So lay it down if it's comfortable for you. Put the ball inside and just run it across. And this is knit fabric. And just run it across. And those threads would just rip away. Just rip away. Sometimes out of habit, I'm rushing, and you'll see me just doing it just like this. But if you lay it down and just let the seam ripper do the work, it would do the work for you. See, I just ripped the fabric just by doing that. See? So always put the ball in the inside, run it around, run it right down along the seam, and it will pop its stitches. Okay, just keep going. All right, starting with the clips. If you are a tailor, again, garment making, and you are using anything that is like a vinyl or leather, you know they tell you please, or handbags, especially my ladies who are doing handbags. You don't want to pin this kind of fabric. If you put pins to sewing vinyl or leather, you tend to put holes in them. And once you put a hole in here, you have, that hole is always there. It does not act like fabric. That hole will always be there, and it is a permanent hole in that piece of vinyl or leather, and it actually weakens the leather. So you just what you did was just put a hole in your good leather that you done spend probably $150 a yard for. Yeah. So never use pins in your vinyl or in your leather. You want to use clips. And so there are these beautiful clips that I just love. And I think these are by Clover as well. Yay! Clover is in the house. They come in different sizes. So here I have, and we have them here at the lounge, I have some small ones. And these bad babies are strong. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Don't think that this is the same thing that you're going to find on Amazon. You know why? I've been there. I have been in your shoes trying to find a cheaper option. Cheaper option is not going to save you when you are trying to make this garment beautiful and having the right tools. It's nothing like having the right tools. I bought these from Amazon and thought I was doing something. The first day I started using them, they were starting to break. I went to Clover, and I broke down the money to buy them. These clips are made differently. I've had my clips for about 10 years. Same clips. I don't lose mine either because I keep them in jars. Okay? Keep them in jars by their size. I broke in one because I stood on it. I still have my same clips from Clover still working. The ones at Amazon are not made the same. I hate to tell you, been there, tried it. So they do come in sizes. So this is the small, there is a large, and then these are the jumbos. And I love these, especially if you need something really, if you got a lot of like quilts. My ladies who do binding for quilts, this is your best friend. Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times I saved myself from sticking myself with pins in my quilt. Clips are my best friend for binding. Oh my God, for everything. So how do you use it? So here I have, I'm just making this cute little clutch for my niece. She just, it's her birthday coming up and everything. And so as you can see, I have my clips here. Instead of pins, they work just like your pins. Just hold it in place, and it doesn't matter how thick this is. This is like a denim weight fabric. There are 4 layers here, and my clips can hold on to that with no problem. I love it. So here I have my binding for my top edge that I want to put along the top edge of her clutch. Let me put some more clips here so you can see what I'm doing. And so here's her bag, here's the opening, and here's the little flap. And I want to just add this little leather piece here and a leather wristlet to it. But again, if I want to do that, I don't want to punch holes in here. So what I've done is actually clip the binding, the vinyl binding to the fabric, and I will sew that on. Again, you don't want to put holes, unnecessary holes, in vinyl or leather. You want to use clips, okay? So that is my tips about clips. Woo! Okay, we're doing good. Okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. We're doing good. Okay. My favorite marking tool is Marks Be Gone. I'm going to tell you now why I like this. I like this because I can use this on knit fabrics. I can use it on leather. I can use it just about on anything that does not leave a watermark, meaning if you need to spray, starch, steam anything, you don't want to use this. And that's not too many fabrics that I don't have to do that to. So this is a great tool for that. Mark Be Gone. Why do I like Mark Be Gone? Oh, let me show you. And yes, I'm breaking this bad baby out of the box. So it leaves and I have knit fabric. A lot of people complain about, with chalk will pull at the fabric. Unlike this pen, it won't pull at the fabric, and I love this. So I'm just going to make a mark here, and you'll see this is a blue mark, and I'm bring this closer so you can really see that. You see that? Water, I do whatever I need to do, and this is a beautiful thing. I can come back to this project probably in 6 months to a year, and that line is still there. You know what makes it disappear? Yeah, water. And we got plenty of that. It just disappears. Are you kidding? I love it. Love it. And we always have a bottle of water, starch, the refillable bottle. It's always there. I love this tool. Love it. Love it for not only cottons, but for knits, because it won't drag the fabric. You can get precise markings with the Mark Be Gone. And it literally it's by its name. Favorite pens, my favorite pens, and I meant to mention this with clips, because a lot of times my beginners will ask me, well, Tisha, what's your favorite pens? So I decided to grab our pen cushion that we use here at the lounge, and there's tons of styles of different pens. This drives me bananas. I'm gonna tell you why. Metal pens, and I'm gonna hold these up, and you find these in the if you're buying a suit out of something or a new shirt, you find these pens. And a lot of times you can buy these at your local shop. These drive me crazy because I can't see them in the fabric, okay? Not only can I not see them, but they're thicker than your regular needles. And they're thicker than quilting needles. What? Quilting needles, Tisha? Yeah, I told you the quilting section got the best straight pens. All the tools. These are straight pens. They are the best thing for the book. Not only are they long, but the heads are yellow. I can see this pen even if I'm standing up and I'm 5'9" on the floor. I can see this in my fabric. I know where I'm going, unlike a lot of the metal pens with no heads. Now, the other pens, they're okay, but the pearlized and everything, sometimes they come in colors of the fabric. Again, I know what I'm getting with the quilting pens. They're yellow, they're bright yellow, and I can see them no matter what. See how this pen is shorter than this pen? You may not be able to see that on a camera, but just go ahead and bring this one. But look how long my straight pen is. Oh my God. Just, again, you can't beat that. I use these not only for quilting, I use these for garment sewing. And when we're working here at the lounge, especially when I'm ordering, I always gravitate to these. I love them. All right. I'm going to blow your mind with some things here. And a lot of times, just like the seam ripper, we're not using a lot of our toys to its potential. And the sewing gauge has so much potential. Let me break this down. Not only is this metal, this is beautiful because you can literally take this to your ironing board and press over it, which is beautiful. So if you're trying to put hems in something, you can actually use this marker, and it goes up and down. Sometimes they're red, but this one happens to be blue. And just turn your hem and literally go around a curved hem. If you've done a curved hem, you know what I mean. You're trying to keep the integrity of that 2 inches going around it. This will do it. And you can just keep every 4 inches away from each other. You can actually press up that hem and keep it consistent as you go, because you can press on this, which is why I love this. The other thing is that people forget this. Bam! Right here at the very top of your seam ripper, where that little point is at, from one end to the other end, is exactly 5/8. What? Yeah, 5/8. When you're sewing, they always telling you 5/8 this, 5/8 that, 5/8, 5/8, 5/8, 5/8. And you're looking on trying to figure that where that's at. It's been here all along. It's been on your sewing gauge. It's there. Right here. That's your 5/8. If you're trying to figure out where your needle should be, look at that hole. It's right there. 5/8. You're trying to measure your fabric, it's right here. The other cool thing, you can make your own circle templates. What, Tisha? Yep. All right, let me steal my paper here. And let me pull out my little Sharpie. Make sure you're in the camera. Yeah, we get ready to draw a circle with the sewing gauge. And I'm going to take a pen. And Cecily is giving me the eye. I know. So, for example, what size circle you want to make? You're going to go all the way up to 6 inches. It's really up to you. It's based on your measurements here. So, for example, I'm just going to do one that's 2 inches. So I'm going to take my little gauge here and bring it right to the 2 inch. Now, on your sewing gauge, there's these holes that sit right there where the blue part, that little tip here, and there's one here. It doesn't matter which one, but you want to anchor that to the paper or whatever you're tracing it on, just with a pen, and just hold it down. So say, for example, this was fabric, and I'm just going to put my pen in that little hole, because I've already marked my gauge at 2 inches, and there I am. Now, on that end where I talked about earlier where the 5/8 is at, there's that little hole. Remember I said you can use that for trying to figure out how to measure from your foot on your sewing machine, your needle. You want to take your marker and literally bam! I'm going to come around the other way. Oh my God, we just made a 2-inch circle. There's no need to run to the store for templates. You haven't been using your sewing gauge to its full potential. That's all. Speak up a little bit. Okay, then sorry. All right, so that's everything with the sewing gauge, okay? So when we're sewing here at the lounge, we need things that we can lay down really quickly because we're working with large scale items. So if you're doing a jacket or this beautiful dress that we're going to talk about, and you have something that needs a large pattern, like sometimes as big as this cutting mat, sometimes you want to lay it down really quickly to sew. I recommend traveling to your local hardware store. Here in Maryland, we have this hardware store that we love so much, and they are actually called, and I'm gonna get that name for you, but we just buy these. These suckers are literally 10 cents a pop. They're weighted. This one feels almost like this is probably roughly about 2 pounds. And you can scale them up and even get them even larger. I think the largest one I probably have gotten is probably a 20-cent one, which is, I think is this one. But these things are so cheap. You know how it is? Going into the store, the weights can be really heavy, but this is a great steal, So we do this all the time here. And we just wrap them in some scrap fabric, which we love. So nothing goes to waste, Okay, so my last one is wash away. So if you ever come here to Sew Creative Lounge and have taken a class, especially for level 2 and level 3, this is a must and a go-to for you, because this is going to help you, give you precise hemline, especially for shirts that have that curved hemline. We use this for inserting zippers. It holds your zippers in place. And the beautiful thing about it is it doesn't gump up your machine. You know what I mean? If you used an adhesive or another form of tape and you went to go sew with your sewing machine and it gumps up your sewing machine, Wash Away does not. We love this stuff here. We use it for all of our hems. We use it for all of our zippers because it is a way for us to base it in place, because it's like a tape or an adhesive, but it's not fusible. Unlike fusible, you have to use heat to activate the glue part. This is like a double-sided tape, and it's so thin that your needle does not have a problem running through it. So once you turn everything and get everything in position, it will stay there because of the tape. It's just that strong. This is like super tape for tailors or anyone who's doing garments. I really, really recommend this. Shirt making, your pants, if you're doing zippers, oh my God, this puts your zipper in place and you don't have to worry about it. And then you can come and sew it in. But this is beautiful. I just love this thing.